Cool. And we are back?
No, it's not. I've got to start the recording. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm one of your hosts, Rob, and I'm joined in the studio today by Mr. Nathan Prescott. Oh, that's the wrong one. And Jonathan Etland. Hi, John. Hi, Nath.
Salut, bonani.
Wow.
What?
Hello.
So yes, we're here live in the studio on Monday. It's Age of Sigmar Day. We've just done 2 days of Six Nations coverage. Jonathan isn't meant to be here, and Nathan's been away since 3:30. Get ready for a roller coaster of a show, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get on to welcoming anyone else, I'd like to welcome you two. How are you both?
You're tired, right?
I'm great. I'm wired.
You're very tired. And what about you, Jonathan? How are you?
I was a bit pissed off today.
Yeah.
So why are you here in the UK still?
That's the question every Brit is asking themselves to every immigrant at the moment. I thought you guys wanted to get rid of us. No, but so I checked in yesterday, got my boarding card on my phone, went down to the airport to start the app.
Yeah.
Didn't start up. Couldn't get my boarding card. And so they sent me to a queue for 20 minutes. When I got in the front of the queue, they sent me to another queue for like 20 minutes. When I got in front of that queue, they sent me to another queue.
You look so tired.
And
You look so
the
fucked.
fucking bitch took too long to help me, so they didn't take my bag on the plane. They told me 45 minutes before the plane left, you can't go on the plane.
Yeah, English people love
Where
keys, man.
is my white privilege? It's a myth.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm lucky to have you here. I'm happy to see you. You're here till Friday.
It's like a new vacation.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna play
Five
some
more
We're
days.
gonna play some Warhammer this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
you and me. So I'm really looking forward to that. Nathan Prescott, how are you?
Fantavidosis, man.
Loads of words. That's great. Do you think that the reason Jonathan wasn't able to get on the plane was because there's too many websites,
We can't organise Brexit.
let alone planes?
But we got to have a classic John and Nathan mess about.
We burned some diesel.
Wait,
Yeah.
you did a Nathan and John mess about.
Yeah. So we went on the Stansted just to buy diesel.
and a box of donuts.
Yeah.
Right, so welcome to you two, and now I'm going to welcome everyone else in the chat on Twitch live, and welcome all these guys. Speckles, we'll talk about him in a bit. Donaldinho, Hook and Pin, Mere Mouse, Lofthammer, Evening. Banana Timmy says Jonathan stole my builder.
Yeah, I was supposed to be at Timmy's house all day.
Yeah.
Dan Unsupervised, hey you gorgeous gentlemen, hey, you guys should check out Dan's show, which happens later on this evening. You can watch this live again on Twitch, so he'll be talking more. I think he's talking to Gabe from Runax Wargaming, talking about the amazing BrizCon
okay.
event they had this weekend. We're going to touch on that a little bit, but he's going to give you so much more info and hot goss, right? Also, Dan's just cute and gorgeous. Scrivo's in the chat from this weekend. He's great. Old Shrimp Eyes, Full Creamer, Donaldinho. Old Shrimp Eyes the other day. He's great. Brooktry, I'm sure I've seen John walk past me in Cardiff on Saturday, and I didn't have a chance to tell him that Dispossessed are the best. I failed the meme. Oh, no.
You failed.
He did fail. Why don't you just go and tell him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that hard to miss, right?
Hi, Lukewarm. Hi, Devious2K. Evangels. We need John and the dog. He's around. He's somewhere. I can set next time. We've only just rebuilt the studio, having been at the Six Nations. So if you're watching us on Twitch, thanks very much. If you're watching us on YouTube, big holler. We'll be taking questions on Twitch. And if you're watching us on Facebook, hope you're having a great time looking at memes while you're watching some Warhammer stuff from us. Thank you very much. Hit like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. And also, massive shout out to all of the team captains from Six Nations this weekend who did a whip around for me, Speckles, and John, who were working at the weekend, and they got us a bunch of cash, which was really, really nice of them. I wasn't expecting that at all, so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. That was fucking really nice. And then there was some one-upmanship happening involving some dice, so I ended up with a couple of dice, which was cool. So just big thank you. That was really nice, unexpected. Wasn't like was super like wicked.
Helped out with your costs.
Yeah, paid for petrol, paid for a train. It was cool, and it bought us some donuts on the way. So, I mean, you can't ask for more now. So.
Sounds like we all live with donuts.
Classic mess about.
Yeah, a classic mess around. Yeah, a classic. And also, it's fucking cool of them to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, really nice. And, my too long didn't read from this weekend is that all the people that had representatives for their country should be super proud of their country's reps, because the atmosphere this weekend was just wicked. So I'm
Are
sure
the dice loaded?
Huh?
Are the dice loaded?
I don't know. I'm going to check that out later. That's my hope. That's my hope. It probably won't.
Which nation's
they won't-
dice
they
will
won't
be
for
the
sc-
most loaded?
Not Scotland's. Right, LLV, thank you for subscribing 13 months in a row. Also join me in LLV tomorrow for our, on the Tuesday for the stat show. LLV did some cool stat stuff, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, that's right. So we'll move on to news. News. Do you know any? Because I know 2 bits of really interesting news. John, do you know any news about Age of Sigmar? Oh, Pinot, thank you for subscribing.
News now.
Yes, I do.
What is the news?
Godrak.
Yes.
Godrak is yeah.
Well, I actually know 3 pieces of news then. That's excellent. Yes, so a Gotrek model is being released. He looks fucking wicked.
Like you could bite your nose off.
Huh?
It looks like you could bite your nose off.
Headbutt you. I'm actually trying to... Jamie White has just joined Patreon and joined the knee stabbing gang. Thank you so much. That's real nice here.
Good timing.
That's fucking... What? Good timing, you fucking legend. I'm trying to grow some Gotrek hair eventually.
Me too. I just shave the sides of my head and keep the middle going.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Positive Victim, Chris Rosrin. Positive Victim's actually got a microphone being sent to him right now. He doesn't know that, but it's on the way. I meant to message him.
I can't wait to hear what he says.
Yeah, on.
Oh, it's the other. You need a different thing.
Yeah. Hi Zanj. All right, got to be myself work and see. So join Dan Unsupervised later on. Live on the show. So Gotrek coming out. You guys excited? Do you think it's going to be in relation to the other piece of news I heard? So there was the bloody thing that they call it, and it was the war game
thing.
That wargaming convention, but it's not quite that. It's a little bit more. The UK Games Expo was this weekend, and Games Workshop hosted one of their kind of like mini reveals. And inside that, someone asked a question and asked about a dispossessed battle tome.
Yeah.
Or a battle tome containing the dispossessed. And the studio answered with, yes, there will be a dwarven tome of some description in the future. Are you listening? Are you excited?
Yes.
I'm just the most excited about they didn't say that Legion Asgore will ever get
They
a
did
battle.
not say, so fuck you. Right, this is key. So Chuckabutty was there this weekend. He was our infield reporter, bringing us the hot goss. So UK Games Expo was bloody fantastic. That was, and it was Tuggy who asked, a dispossessed player of note, of 3, who's super excited. So I actually think in the chat, Provotree's there, LLV's there, you two. I think every dispossessed player and Dan Unsupervised, every dispossessed player I've ever fucking met is now conjoined right now in this moment. And how do you feel?
Stronger than ever before. Faster,
Great when you're getting
harder.
your ass kicked by Godrak. It's gonna be great.
It should be badass. From the books, it should be badass.
I don't care, even if he got rules like a squid gobber.
He probably will get rules kind of squid.
Are you going to give him? Well, he won't be able to take. It'll be a special name character, so he won't be able to take command traits. Are you hoping he gets? And this is an interesting question about like power. Do you want him to be an absolute monster on the tabletop to the point of broken, or do you want him to just be okay?
Broken. But with 4-inch move that cannot be improved.
so anything that gets within 4 inches
Fucking
plus
gets
2d6
to you, he's gonna fucking murder you.
You're fucked.
Damage 10 on his weapon.
When I get there.
It could get 5 actually, because it's a little bit bigger than the other dwarves.
Question also to the Twitch chat. The Twitch chat.
Hashtag Camjo.
I like that. That's interesting. Thank you also to Default Joe Cryer. He went 4-1 this weekend at BadgerCon. I'm going to say that might be wrong, but something. He went 4-1 this weekend. So that he can't do any better than that. That's his thing.
Has he got a balanced army?
He's got an okay army. Positive Victor says, I want to run a competition, highest placing with Gotrek list over the next 6 months. I think that's a fucking fair competition. We'll put a prize out. Punstuff says, good day. Provotry says, Gotrek needs to be absolutely broken. It's the only way it'll be fair. Jimmy 1080 also agrees it should be broken. Gotrek, Donaldinho says in Elves list, broken.
It's the only way it can be fair. I love
The
that.
only way it can be fair
I love that.
is if he's moving forward, but he's broken.
Broken as fuck.
Okay, all right. So Gotrek model, very exciting, and I think it looks really wicked. I really like the kind of the nod to the Fire Slayer design on the axe. I think that's fucking.
Well,
Really
that's if you listen to Realm Slayer, that's the axe that he ends up with is a Grim Wrath Berserker's axe, which is that one, and it's a special named axe and everything.
It's the business, right?
Fancy axe.
Yeah, fancy pants.
You have to have special runes to be able to carry an axe like that.
Yeah, Positive has been suggesting in the chat that it's got always strikes first that ignores always strikes last. Piling an attack twice, just on the weapon alone.
Yeah.
Gottschalk himself, one punch, any monster to death. One punch! Oh, Chuckabutty TV has just donated 1,000 bits to the show. Oh, fucking, what a lovely...
One punch!
One punch! One punch! If you guys haven't watched One Punch Man, you should watch it.
If you haven't, do it.
It was the Bug Eater GT, ran double Witchfire Coven, says Joe. And I don't mind that because I'm soon to be a Zinch player.
What?
Double Witchfire Coven. Oh, Par UK, thank you so much for scrum 15 months in a row. He also says it seems longer. I don't know if that's a compliment.
Time drags.
Time does drag. Hey, OJ. So those are the two pieces of news that are exciting. Dispossessed Battletome. Do some quick wish listing for me. Twitch chat and you two. I really want to know what you guys are excited about.
Movement 10 dwarves.
Well, that's not going to happen, so...
Shit.
Helicopters that blow your socks off.
Specifically socks. Is that why the fire slayers have got no socks?
So you want helicopters in Dispossessed because they don't have it at the moment.
Yeah.
They don't.
No.
This is Steam.
Yeah, they're gonna jump. The helicopters are gonna rejoin because they got Dwarden keyword.
It's not Dispossessed.
They've got more Dwarden keywords than the Legion of Thingamajiggy job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So what's your suggestion?
So yeah, helicopters in the Dispossessed.
Give them some movement shenanigans
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're all Gucci, and then it's a powerhouse.
Some
It's already a powerhouse, but then will be an
ambushing.
unstoppable powerhouse.
It's so raw. The Tyromancer says the return of the Ironworld back into their army, no longer allies. That makes sense. Tunneling that doesn't benefit your opponent, please, says OJ. I think that's absolutely fine.
tunneling that doesn't take a couple of turns.
So based off the Fire Spades battle tome, you can probably assume that all of the Dwarden are going to get 2 wounds. So just off without anything else, without command abilities or command traits or anything, if you were to look at your, I mean, they also got a points hike, but if you were to look at your current army and like warriors with 2 wounds, would that make them really strong? Like hammerers, like, you know, especially if they say
they need to rebase them if that's the case. I don't think we will have 2 wound characters. Or,
even the fucking Warden King's on a 25.
Yeah, but they are dwarves.
Big heads.
Almost there's an actual siege wall and across their board edge as their scenery piece. What would be nice is if we got another one of those palisades where you've copied my homework. Can I copy your homework? Yeah, but not quite.
If they got proper runic powers and maybe even runic weapons there, so you can modify your.
And maybe the possibility to dispel an endless spell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just like tell.
Wow.
Back off.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably get their own endless rune forge things, you know, like, what's the Fire Slayers one's
big
called?
Helicopters and bigger helicopters.
One giant cannon. Yeah, they just fucking a cannonball that just rolls down. Yeah, right, I'll take that.
Then I reckon what they might do is they might tie it to. So at the moment they're in they're like in the Greywater Fastness.
Dispossessed are.
Yeah, and those
Azerheim, there's a bunch of them.
And then in like the Living City, those ones are like allied to the Sylvaneth, and they'd like ambush, and they can come out of Sylvaneth Wildwoods and stuff like that.
Okay.
So if they keep that sort of theme, so you can take.
It's gonna be shit if they use Sylvaneth Wildwoods because then you can't see. Well, the helicopters can. Because they can fly.
Yeah, but they can pop out 1 inch from the edge and go. Toof.
Dispossessed terrain. He says they also said it won't be called Dispossessed, but they will have a represented in an upcoming battle tome.
Oh.
Very interesting.
Who
Thank
said
you,
that? Sorry?
Chuckabutty, who was there at the studio weekend. Wargrander says, evening lads, love the coverage over the weekend. Thank you very much. Positive Film says the competition for the highest placed Gotrek list is going to be called the #Metaslayer, which is fun.
Cool. Good name. Strong name.
Provocatory says Ironbreakers with 2 wounds would literally be a wall, like an actual wall. Still movement 4. Everyone thinks that they should be. The Wizard says hello. The Wizard. Do you want to give him the Wizard?
Are you a wizard? Are you a wizard?
Bring back miners, says LLV. OJ says, make them become the possessed who have built a new kingdom, hard as nail stunty fuckers with badass war machines and wounds for days. The new possessed, yeah. Warden King, I am the mightiest dwarf
repossessed.
sorcerer.
The repossessed.
Yeah, repossessed. Brooke, she says, Warden King, I am the mightiest dwarf sorcerer. I cast cannon. Lofthammer, thank you for donating 100 bits. That's lovely. Gitley says, calling it now, new dispossessed will be stumpy insect people called a hive of bugmans. That's fucking rude.
Oh, what if Bugmas will be in the book?
Hi, El Capitan.
Bugman and his rangers.
Part of UK says Zangor got 2 wounds, but Beastman didn't. That's also true. Hey, Sunny, how you doing? Right, there's loads of you. Hold up, Collision actually be included in a battle tome? I don't think so. I hope they do something only engineers of a cogmen army. That could be fun. Kadro says, hi, Robin, Nathan, Jonathan, what have we missed? Nothing so far. We're just saying hi. And the visitors subscribed for 7 months.
They might get those cog forts that we keep reading about as well.
We keep reading about cog forts, don't we? They might get
Cog
a piece of scenery.
forts.
Cog forts.
Cogforts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not cock forts.
Right, so that's the piece of news that we saw that was really exciting. We saw the release of that model. The other release that was this weekend, or that we talked about, was the new Warcry Warband. I think that's what they're called.
Bird Boys.
Bird Boys. Chaos Bird Boys. How do you guys feel about that? The Ravanax flock.
All of them. I think all of the warbands look great.
Twitch chat also. How do you feel? You like them all?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nath?
Yeah.
Apart from the little guy who looks like a emo midget. He can fuck off.
That one guy can fuck off.
The one with the curly beard and the
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
He can go back and clean the toilets.
Okay. I think they look great. Can't wait to see them. Again, more Chaos units released for Chaos. Sorry, for Warcry. More Chaos units released for Warcry, which is interesting. I think, we haven't seen any order stuff. They did say order, but I think after the pushback that they saw off the internet, that they might release just a bunch of other stuff that's already in other kits. I looked at my Warhammer then, I was like, other models. They might release, other already released models as part of Warcry, which maybe wasn't originally their plan, but once they got that pushback, I think maybe you'll see it. This looks cool though, all the different.
What pushback? What's
I think because in the beginning it was like only Chaos for that game, but then people were like, but I want to play my dudes. So I'm thinking we'll see some sort of rules for those dudes, but no new models.
Well, they showed so they've shown the symbols of the first set, and they're all chaos symbols. But then they showed some other symbols.
So it might be like a warband.
Included some orc stuff and
they're very cool.
Everything basically.
They're very cool though. Like you could use them as beastmen models, really. Like
Marauders.
They're pretending marauders.
Marauders that doesn't look like shit.
Yeah, marauders that don't look fucking rubbish, especially in the Tzeentch army. Obviously, like they're just wicked kits. It's a bit like it seems like Warcry might be like our version almost of Necromunda, where if you look at any of the Necromunda kits, oh my god, you could. I mean, some of them are almost transposable into AOS anyway. But
like the Cador, no. That's another game.
Yeah, but so it would be cool if they if they were transposable in that way. So I think they look cool. So they look great anyway, in my opinion. And you guys agree? You like them?
Yeah, except for the little guy.
Apart from the little guy, he can fuck off. So talking about pushback on the internet, something else happened this weekend before we get into the Six Nations talk, into the news, and that was that Games Workshop released a website where you can learn how to paint armies. Yes? Okay. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, yeah. And it's cool, right? There's a nice repository. The coolest bit...
Suppository.
No. It depends how you feel about this next conversation. The coolest bit was that they showed how to paint concept armies. Yeah? Using the contrast paints.
It's a thing?
It's a thing. Now, if you guys aren't aware of what a concept army is, what happened was about 4 years ago, someone dry brushed an army and put some red blood on it, and they said that it was a concept army.
But he copied that off of somebody that did a Skaven army, and that was fighting in the dark.
Yeah.
So it was obviously dark, so it was black, but with little colours running through, but not a lot, and then highlighted off of warpstone. It looked really cool. I think it was themed about Eshin and stuff like that, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've actually most of the ones that I've seen.
It's the only thing they have in common, all the concept armies, I think, is that the people who painted them are lazy.
Right. Listen,
no, I'm kidding.
So I don't really want to get into this too much because but I have a relatable story, right? being who I am, I've always tended to date like artists, and I've dated a fair share of like fine art students and just fine artists in general. And while wonderful, when you actually see their work, what they do is they just do something. And then when they put it up, they start making up bollocks, and just saying whatever. And that's basically, in my opinion, what fine art is. It's all conceptual, right? And they're just like, it could be this and that. And that's what I feel the concept armies are. To a degree, I've seen some good ones, and I don't hate the style, especially when it's done well. That particular one I talked about that was dry brush white with the red looked lovely.
I have zero issues with concept armor. It's better to paint the concept armor and get it on the table painted on.
No, but I do have an issue with just trying to fucking pull the wool over our eyes, right? Just fucking own it and be like, look, man, I fucking smashed this out. It's got a cool little style. Like, yeah, cool, no problem. We're good. But Games Workshop did one yesterday. They did a black coach, looked basically grey. Looked pretty rubbish, and then since then they've removed it off the internet.
Lame and medium concept army. It's happened.
Yeah,
it's finally happened.
Fucking Joe's painting style has caught on.
Nice. Good job, Joe.
Good job, Joe.
OJ says Rob slayed the whole art world. Yeah, you do jobs let me catch the stream. I'm really happy, Gubs. Thanks for being here. Rograk says my degree in bachelor arts. Hi, Tom. By the way, I'm telling you that crystal-based armies are the pinnacle of hobby. That would be wrong. And I think
Does he use them for feng shui?
What?
His crystals. Does he use them for feng
all
shui?
that energy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does he do energy shit with his crystals?
Can you just lift your mic up a second? It's just the. Don't worry about it. Don't try. Don't even bother. Just put it back
Shall
down.
I shake it?
No, don't do any of those things. That's fine. I'll try to sort it out. Okay. Anyway,
Do you want the cover lifting it?
Yeah, just want to. That's fine. Just make sure it's facing you because you're kind of tilting to the side of it.
Like this?
Yeah. I don't know why you would touch the actual volume part of it.
Like that? Can you hear me? Bang, bang, bang.
Anyway, welcome to the show. So, what do you? Thanks, Chucks. So, are you against the concept armies? You for them? I'm for them. Four. Yeah. Do you think that the one that you've never seen the coach because it's been deleted off the internet?
You told me, and I looked for it for 45 minutes.
Somebody showed it to me today.
About the same amount of time.
Someone showed it to you today. And what do you think of it?
It was
a fucking mess.
It was just a black coach that they had dry brushed, and then somebody had put 2 bits of green wash on it somewhere. That was crap.
Gitly, I want to know you guys in the chat. Are you for or against concept armies, FYI?
No, it's crap.
Can't ghosts look like that?
So one of the biggest crimes that I've ever seen is an entire army bought, sprayed white, and then covered in nihil oxide, and then dry brush white, and then people going, it's a ghost version of that army. And that's cool. I get it. You want to just get the toys on the tabletop, and there's a conversation to be had. But the conversation always goes back to that social contract of I'd like to play against someone. And I'm not someone who's particularly famous for doing particularly nice armies, truth be told. But I've always put the fucking effort in to get them done to a degree. And some of you guys have watched me paint on the stream and have been horrified by the process. But I've done it. I'm really excited about the contrast paints. They're very expensive to get that done. But I think that there still is a certain standard that we want to hold people to when we're playing at tournaments. Or do you disagree?
Obviously. I like painted armies, not gonna lie. I like well-painted armies.
Well, that's the point of the show that you don't lie, right?
I'm gonna lie.
Yeah, I can lie all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a really fickle one. You want people to paint their shit.
Mm-hmm. And if it gets armies on the tabletop,
right? And you can also tell when people have been lazy and when people have actually put effort in, even if it's a concept army, or even if it's a concept army, you can still tell if people are just taking the piss or if they actually put effort in.
That's the problem, right? We're setting a cast in stone rule when you say it has to be a 3 colours
minimum.
No,
that's dead, man. That's dead.
No, but my point is if you were to say something like a 3 colour minimum, people can just put a dab of 3 different colours on each model and go, look, It's got 3 colours on it. So there is a kind of level of interpretation, right? Yeah. Already that happens.
But also we're people, right? So we're not stuck into robot thinking, so you can tell when someone's taking the piss, right?
I agree. I agree massively. double the so concept. Hookerpin says concept armies for no. OJ says I like concept armies, but Games Workshop had a shit concept. That's a good argument.
The concept was shit.
Yeah, your concept was rubbish. Elmo says I'm quite for concept army. The lava looked very cool, as did the statues. The Grey Nighthorn were really the only stinkers in there, in my opinion. Jimmy says a lot of mates are keen on concept armies, but the look is miserly bad, says Jimmy. Dave Robertson, if it's painted consistently and some effort is put in, then who cares, better than playing on painted army, which I agree with.
I agreed.
My takeaway as well. Yeah. Dutch game, the best a man can get. Concept army, stick literal razor blades on the whole army. Wow. For agree, but a lot of people want gaming tournaments to be decided only on gaming, then get pissy about painted armies. Which is a fair point. And he also turned up to a tournament 2 weeks ago, which we held with a very lovely painted army. So, he's all for putting the work in. Haywo says, and again, another excellent little nugget from that great man. Concept army, an excuse rather than an explanation.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you didn't get along there. Hey, Can Hammer TV. You could put effort into taking the piss, says Rogrags, who recently did that. Broke Treat, my Acadian theme concept army is just 400 empty bases that have been lit on fire for a while. Anyway, for me personally, I'd like the contrast paints to be a thing. And I'd also like people to be able to get their armies on the tabletop quicker. For me, basing's the thing that really fucks me off. Like, the minimal effort you see on some basing on some armies is just, like, atrocious.
Bases and faces.
Yeah, it's like, I've painted my base brown. I'm like, no, stop this right now. But I think it's, like, half the model of the base. Anyway, I didn't want to spend too long on it. I just liked the little faux pas where they put it up and then everyone was like, no. Everyone was like, what's that? And they've gone, we've deleted it, don't worry, it's gone.
Yeah. I think the best commercial so far for the contrast paints is Mengel's Skaven, dude. That was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it looked really great.
Yeah,
it did look really great. I really liked it personally. Yeah, and I think, but he's also already a good painter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to see like a bunch of like absolute. I want to see me do something good with it. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm going to get some. So then you'll know. That's what I'll do. I'll give you guys an honest review because you'll be like, he probably has got no skills anyway before he even gets the paint. That's what you want the standard to be. You want to get a bunch of jalopies, right, who've got like 2 left hands, yeah, and have a roller as a brush and be like, there's some models, boys. Paint it up and then see what the results are. You don't want a golden demon winner using it to paint because he's pretty good at painting. He's probably not just using contrast space. He's probably like wetting it, fucking got like.
It's probably not wetting it.
Probably a really small brush. Probably got one of them wet pads that people use, like the. It
doesn't work with water. You have to have the special medium.
He's probably got a tap somewhere nearby. Just the classic painting techniques. A brush. He's not finger painting all over it.
Potatoes.
Hey, Cube Noise. Vance says best contact army is Nighthaunt Venetian concept. Pretty sure it's not quick though. Dodging finger painters. That's what you want. Some finger painters. See what the results are. I just thought that was some cool news. I like seeing that black coach atrociously done, and then them going, "It's a concept," and I was like, "Oh, Games Workshop." That excuse did not fly before. It will not fly now. All right. So should we talk about the weekend?
Yeah.
Unless you guys have got any more thoughts about that.
They're removing the glazes, right?
No, they're not removing. They're rebranding their glazes. The glazes are the glaze paints are now. They put a post up about it today.
Okay.
So their glaze paints are now being rebranded as airbrush clear.
Okay.
So they're clear.
Because the glazes are great.
Airbrush clear.
Airbrush clear.
Waywatcher green, Lamanthus yellow.
Airbrush clear, not glaze.
Ira says, around here, grey plastic is known as Nuneaton tabletop standard. I'll let you know if the contrast changes that. Hey, Hawkeye. Right, so the AOS Six Nations event happened this weekend. Jonathan, you're a member of Team Sweden.
Sverige.
And from a country with the highest concentration of fjords that you've ever seen. There's actually a poll in the chat if you guys would like to vote. We've changed the poll about whether or not Speckles is rubbish. So you can now vote for who you wanted to win. Spoilers are the England one. But before we get into it, just in case you've never heard, what it is 6 different countries sent a team of 8 people under a captain and also with a coach. Everyone had a coach this weekend, which was cool. Not everyone had a coach. Sweden didn't need a coach.
We didn't need a coach.
What do you use Molnir as your like guiding light? Like how did you?
One strong leader on the battlefield is all we need.
Adam.
Him as well. We need him as well.
Elmberg says, aren't fjords Norwegian?
Not anymore.
No.
I mean, Sweden. I mean, it's a country for the future, right? I mean, Norway have the oil, but we have nukes if we want. So, well, they'll just take the colony back.
So Speckles just subscribed for 18 months in a row. Thanks, Speckles. Was there this weekend. He's the worst player, AOS player around, and also, and this is interesting, the final tally on the poll was that 80% of the people had decided that he was the worst player in Warhammer in the world.
Wow.
So that seems fine. Banana Timmy says concept or contrast either will look good if you put the effort in and do the basics well, which I agree with. The Games Workshop effort was terrible as it looked like someone who had heard of a concept army and thought they would have a bash, and putting any serious effort in. Painted in 40 minutes should only be a tagline for something that looks decent when it's applied to something that looks terrible. It adds to the half-assed effort of it all. I'd agree.
Yeah.
Here. No one. Chukwui said everyone had a coach. Was it sprayed 3 times?
Dry brushed, a little bit of wash on the end. Job done.
So
they deleted them.
Yeah. So each one of the teams played each other, right? And then there was a draw process which we tried to film, so you can watch it all back on YouTube. I think we fucked up the first one, but everything after that we nailed. So you could see the draw process happening, and you could see the coaches trying to get the best draws possible. Interesting little statistic, and I know LOV is a fan of these, and you guys are as well. Every time I interviewed the captains after to see how they felt about the matchups, every coach, every matchup, we've done great.
Like Games Workshop with their coach. We've done great.
We've done great. They were like, we've nailed this. And I was like...
Took us 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Look at this.
Like if you ask Team Sweden round 1, I don't think Mikael said we've done great. I think it said quite the opposite.
Oh, okay. All right. So we only ever covered one match. So you got a round, which was 3 matches, and each match consisted of 8 games. So we only covered 1 round per time, anything more than that. So before we get into it, I want to say a special shout out to John Scrivens, who helped doing all the buttons and stuff. Speckles, who helped me do chatting for the entire weekend. Andy, who did amazing, Andy did on-the-fly stats generation.
And he was spot on as well. He was like, come over to me last game, you've taken the same secondary twice. I was like, shit, have I? And I hadn't, because I just named it wrong.
Oh, right, okay.
But he knew.
He knew, He fucking knew. And then it was run by Donald. Yeah. Both him and Donald did a fucking smashing job.
They did.
Really well organised, in my opinion. Donald it was so well organised and so astutely done by Andy that Donald had time to join us on the commentary team and just become a troll for the weekend, which he loved. Yeah, and he was excellent at. So please go back and watch some of those interviews because I was fucking howling with laughter. But
he's
thankfully,
a skillful troll.
He is a skillful troll, but very unbiased as a TO, which was my favourite part about the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, he basically didn't have
a
dog in the race.
He didn't have anything. Anyway, invested.
So I need to say a big thank you to those guys because those guys were wicked. But it's the first time we've done coverage at an international team event. But John, you've been to the Six Nations before, and Nathan, you've been to the Six Nations before. How do you find team events in general? And then John, how do you think this differed to events before?
I think team events is probably the pinnacle of competitive gaming in Age of Sigmar.
You think?
Yeah, because as long as there's a good format, which we had this weekend, which is tend to be in Warhammer team tournaments, so where you can't duplicate skulls, you can't do certain stuff you normally can, like everybody can't play Skaven or whatever.
Yeah.
And also you add into the pairing, which is a nice side game, right? It's build up to the tournaments. It's like you talk with your team and you try to not to piss off your captain too much by taking gits.
But there was a special award if you took gits.
As there should be.
As there should be. There was a best in faction, and it was only awarded to the gits players. Am I right?
It was the best faction award.
And it really went to the gits.
Not the best in faction, just the best faction.
Just the best faction was awarded. That was great. Donald in the chat right now says, "Guys, I'll let you into a secret. I was slightly biased."
Fuck, nobody would have picked up on that.
Ever guessed that. So Donald may or may not have been rooting for the Northern Irish team. So going into the event. Oh wait, sorry, you were carry on with what you were saying.
And if you compare the Six Nations to the I was on the first Six Nations, not the second one, and not the third. The ways that it's evolved, because now we have like started some sort of culture with traditions, and like the events always keep upping. Because I know the one in Scotland last year was really good as well. But I thought this one
I really enjoyed meeting the Scottish team actually. Like team captain, coach were just fucking great guys, and then the rest of the guys they were just and as they first round they held England to like a 4-4 win. So like they won 4 games, lost 4 games, and then they just had a bit of a rough ride over the weekend. But like they fucking took it like champs.
But that's the thing as well. It's getting closer. Like everybody's catching up.
Yeah,
everybody's catching up, and I was really impressed by obviously England. I mean. They're doing great. They're good players.
Yes.
But I think I was really impressed by Northern Ireland. For the way they played really good. Good armies, good players. Colin had a rough time. Sorry, Colin.
No, Colin did have a rough time. We'll talk about that in a moment, especially against the fucking that shout with Andy Hughes. But there's a good interview on that. If you go and watch the final round footage, you can see that interview. It's very, very funny. But you think that all of the different nations have actually brought their level up?
Yeah.
Because going into the event, England were the 2-time champions.
Yeah.
So like, and if you listen to the coverage, we make them out to the bad guys. They're all great guys. All 8 guys are great guys. But we make them out to be, like but that's what you want,
Team
right?
Eastland in Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You've got to have the guys that need to fall, right? Otherwise, you don't really have much drama.
Yeah.
Unless you're on the side of like, here come the reigning fucking champs, looking fucking, they're flawless.
Gryffindor.
But there was one of the interviews with them, and they were really fucking nice about it. They were like, everyone hates us, and we don't care. And I was like, good, yeah. Following the channel motto of the Honest Wargamer, fuck them.
Yeah. No, everybody didn't hate.
But everyone brought their level up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and it's my first time doing any coverage at the event, but you've been before.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I think the scoring that we ran, that Donald ran in this pack as well, is really good. So where one team can't really get away that much, but I don't think like people were maxing out all the rounds either. So even if you didn't have that cap on how many points you could score and how many points your minimum score, did not really matter that much.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the 60 points that you minimum score, that one matters more probably. But I think it's really good for the event, and it makes it into a rounding all the way into the last round, which is really good.
I mean, England by the final round, England had taken away pretty much. Although there was the still chance for Northern Ireland to take it out.
If we would have won like I think one more game against them, I think Northern Ireland would have maybe taken it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the Swedes
obviously it was secondaries as well and stuff, but that was like the overall thing. Win 5 games against England and Northern Ireland wins.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was my first time doing the coverage, which I found quite interesting. I won't lie to you. Because like we said on the show last week, like we're gonna go do a thing, don't know what the fuck it is. First round was like a nightmare. I'd done this like super fancy overlay to make it look like esports, right? And then like I was like, John, fill in all the info, and then John was like, there's too much fucking info. And that's probably my takeaway from the weekend, that like the volume of data that's coming in. So someone's asked a question in the chat, which is, sorry, I've missed your name, but it was basically, did you not cover any games at all? So we didn't cover or have a camera over any of the game tables, which was an interesting choice. Like, I think I would like to try doing that version as well. Because we only really ever talked about one match in a round, so that would be 8 games happening simultaneously, and it was a lot of data, because you're talking about 8 matches happen simultaneously. Who you think's going to win? LLV had done some amazing stats on like predictive stats on who he thought was going to win those rounds, or what the stats thought was going to win those rounds. There was our version of that, like who we thought was going to win those rounds. it was just so much information. And then as you got towards the end of it, you were just like exhausted. You know, it's just like all just hitting into your head. So like, and it's not golf, right? It's not like, yeah, he's hit that ball, so he's 2 under par. Like, it's like fucking these are dead, points are up, and the coaches are running around between the matches, taking in the data. You both playing as players, because I've not done that. Did you feel you were quite isolated from all of the data, or did you find that you were that you were kind of conscious of all the other games happening at the same time? Because the coach would kind of update players, right?
Yeah. Normally, I think it's you
I guess that's
keep in touch, don't you?
I think that's a perk of having a coach running down the tables, like saying like, yeah, if you take 1 point here, we win. I guess that's a big perk, because if the coach is playing, also you can't have that communication.
Yeah, but you do tend to look around and you can shout at your mate.
Yeah, but
you tend to keep more in touch with what's going on around you than you do in like a normal game. But then definitely, if you have a coach, that would definitely.
So in this case, you have the secondaries, right?
Yeah.
And when we played Wales, I think they won 5 games on the scenario, but I think we did take clean house on the secondaries, which made us actually win the round. So if you can have that communication, like, okay, you just need to take 2 points, you can just go, okay, abort, take 2 points, to potentially win the round, right? But I mean, and after the games, you're like looking around, always like, how's it going? Are we winning? Are we losing?
Really, yeah. So I mean, some of the actual team captains, like, the coaches were going and grabbing data all the time, and some of them came really close. And one of the things that was I found quite like captivating was that Northern Ireland could have won their round against England had Byron not rolled a 6 against Colin Cochrane, gorgeous man, Donald's dad, Nathan's brother. Dice God, yeah. Like, and also, this was with a Bone Splitters army against Colin's daughter's army. In Byron's first turn, he wiped out 60 of the Daughters of Cain, so 2 units of 30 witches. So Colin sat there like, but then he heroically fought back to this like nail-biting potential win. Wipes out a unit of 30 boys, but obviously he's got the battalion that allows you to get a unit back on a 6. Now, a great shout to Byron here. He rolled a dice. It was a 6. Colin was like having a conversation at that point. He was like, "I'm really sorry, but I haven't seen you roll the dice." Completely fair, yeah. And Byron was like, "Cool, no problem." Rolled it again, big 6.
Karma.
Yeah. Well, being a good dude and just like not arguing the toss, being like, "Cool, you didn't see it, no problem. I'll roll the dice," because you should make sure your opponent will seize the dice when you roll anyway, right?
Yeah.
And that swung the whole game back. Yeah, so Colin did a heroic fight through to like bring that thing. So a roll of a 6 basically decided the outcome of possibly the tournament. I think of the tournament according to Donal. So that's huge, right?
That's an interesting thing, like with karma and like, oh, if you miss something. And I think every situation I had during that weekend, because there's stuff like that. I mean, people bring hard as nails armies, but everybody's a nice dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we play casually. I mean, I play casually. Like, try to play hard against me. I'll go cash. I'll bring it down to my level. Don't worry. But every time we made a reroll that we missed. Let's say I missed the shooting thingy.
Yeah.
I just missed my attacks because karma. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Just miss shit all the while.
Yeah, all the while.
Yeah.
So positive victim in the chat, or Darren himself, a member of Team England who took it away, said in fact every team didn't see him hear a single negative sentiment from anyone during the whole tourney. And John, did you? I didn't. Oh. No, I thought the atmosphere was
super,
was electric. And what was really nice was because obviously like 6 nations have sent 8 players to represent them. And as we said, the lists were like, they were the most efficient versions of almost every list you could find being used, which is why, like, the Flesh Eater Courts one was basically the same, and Skaven was a variety of Skaven. Daughters of Cain, like, there was one non-Hagnar list. So overall, and we'll talk about the list in a moment, I guess. You can find them all on the website, on AOS 6, on the AOSwargamer.com, and they're just under the Six Nations event tab. I would say that I found that to be the most interesting because I had a really in-depth conversation on Saturday night, which I probably want to talk about at the end, talking about like the validity of the game as it stood. But what was really nice is none of the players who were playing in that environment minded the army lists, and some of the stuff that happened was so fucking stupid. Like, because they were like, Gristlegore units taking off like whole armies in a go. They were like, that's fine. People were expecting it to happen. They turned up with that in mind, knowing it could be a thing. And then, like Andy, again, against Colin's army, just womping forward and having 11, maybe 13 activations. This is Andy Hughes of Team Wales, having maybe 11 or 13 activations against Colin's Daughters of Crane in turn 1 before Colin even had a go. He just lost.
Daughters of Crane.
He just lost. Oh my God, perfect. The Daughters of Crane. Yeah. And he just lost his whole army, right? So, but the atmosphere was just super positive, super nice, like really tense. I mean, Mick even at one point, Mick Wendell even of the Republic of Ireland, even deployed some of his summoned pink and blue horrors into his own name on the tabletop while playing.
I'm just amazed that he can spell it.
Wow.
He just wanted to prove it.
And LLV saying in the chat, different mentality, I think, when your objective isn't an individual. Like, it's about winning for the team and against the team, right?
Yeah.
It's not about individual pride. It's about, like, team. And it did feel so good-natured and good-hearted. I really can't express that enough. So a big congratulations to all of the players who went. Can you obviously, John? Because that's, like, if it wasn't like that, I'd fucking say.
A huge success.
It was a huge success, yeah. Like and
everybody made it good.
I think everyone made it good. I think Donal also as a host as well, and I think that's a key element that we've seen from Bobo, because I've been to quite a few events this year now, like run by different people. It's one of the things that you see about Bobo and you see about that you saw about Six Nations was having a host. It felt like that there was like a kind of like a compare almost to a degree. Not quite what John does at Bobo, but like it
like an active host.
An active host, like actively
It's good.
involved.
It's good, I think, to take Donald, like, he takes the edge off.
Yes.
And if you're too serious, he's gonna go for you. And he probably will anyway. But if you're too serious, he's just gonna bring you down.
Bring you down to his height, which is quite low.
Hawkeye says the list seems to be a lot more narrowed down compared to, say, Blood Tithe, where a lot of people just took what they want. Darren says that Pat really helped with this as well. Betray Man says smiley face. Alistair King says best thing about when I have done ETC for a different system is no judgment on what your list is, which I think is fair. And I would say that was true for the weekend as well, right? There was no judgment on the list. I don't think you should ever judge your opponent for bringing a list that's bent like to a competitive tournament. We've said this so many times on the show, but we'll say it time and again.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah, like if you take a bent list to your army, if you take a bent list, but it's on the game designers, which is going to be my point at the end.
I said this during the weekend as well. You're supposed to take a really hard fucking list.
Especially
and I
team
can't express how sorry I am to my team captain for not doing that. but you should, and there's nothing to apologize about it. You're there to win.
Exactly right. So the lists are really bent, and to be honest, if you want any sort of competitive build list, you probably just go on the honestwargaming.com, go on the events tab, click at those lists, and just be like, cool, I'll run that. Obviously, General Sandbook's coming out in 3 weeks or so, so like that'll change up. But like currently, like those are some of like the jankiest pieces of shit you can find, which is fun. But some of them are fairly polarized, because the interesting thing and why we did the draw, everyone who I spoke to before, I want to say a big shout out to Nick Cohen from the Dwellers Below, who took like 2 hours out of his day to have a phone call with me. He used to play a lot of ETC, and he took the time to have a big long talk with me about what we should do for the coverage. And he said, make sure you nail the draw process. And I turned up at the weekend being like, as long as I can nail like at least people seeing what happens in a draw between these two teams, we'll have done the job. Like everything else is kind of secondary. We'll fuck off with everything else.
It's a big part of it.
It's huge, right? So let's explain to everyone at home, just in case they're not aware of how that works. So 2 team captains, so as you guys see, is Nathan and John, for instance. What they do is they have 8 players or 8 cards, which represent players and armies, obviously. And then there's 4 lots of 2 scenarios. So there are 4 scenarios being played in the round, twice. And then what happens is John would put in a card, Nathan would put in a card, and then you'd both put in 2 cards, and you can see this go back and watch it back.
You put in down 1 card face down each,
Yeah.
so it's invisible when you.
Yeah, they're invisible, right? And then your opponents. And what was really fun was that the level of banter between them was just fucking unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like between the different teams, and the atmosphere was like fantastic. I got to do a big shout out to I loved the Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland draw. Yeah, those guys were just giving each other shit for every card that went down, which is just hilarious. It was absolutely fucking gold. It was really good. It just made me laugh loads. The captain of England, Tony Stone Golem, Iron Golem Moore, that's his new nickname, by the way. I've decided, because he cracked a smile twice while he was doing the draw process, which I loved. Yeah, I was like, yes, he can feel things. The Iron Golem has a heart. But yeah, that was really wicked. Like, and the draw process was. I'm going to try and do it better next time. I think we got a little bit. There's this amazing shot. When Darren took his top off for England because Ireland had taken their top off, maybe, and they were all like they'd all taken. Scotland.
Ireland took them off as well.
And then Scotland then retaliated in the final round. They were like, "We're taking our tops off."
Yeah.
And not taking their kilts off. That would have been true retaliation.
But the team captains were really good. A lot of pressure on them. Like Pete from Northern Ireland did fantastic. I think, and they all did really well. But
it's also obligatory as a player to give your captain shit for the pairings.
Is it? Okay, tell me this because I haven't been through it as a player. What's it?
No, you always complain.
Always complain.
That's the trick.
Okay.
Yeah.
They always fuck it up anyway. So,
nah. Yeah. No, not really. I'm happy with Mikkel's result. I think it was really good, actually. He did good. Really good.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. But he did good, but you always give them shit.
Always give them shit.
Yeah. I was like, it's because it's the time for the grown-ups to take over. Do you want me to?
Well, what was funny was I can't remember in what round it might have been. It might have been in round 2. I have to double check that. But one of the team captains got a little bit tentative about his choices, and he put one in. You take one out. You put one. It was electric.
Was it ours?
Yeah. Like Werewolf Comics. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm going to say to you that I feel that was like the most exciting part of the day.
Because that's why we picked him as a captain. Because it's a hard time deciding.
I think it was.
That was literally why we picked him as our captain.
Well, because he's undecisive.
Yeah, he's in trouble with making decisions.
Oh, Donald Dino saying, yeah, it was round 2. So he was just like, oh, no, yes, no. Oh! And it was just fun watching everyone giving him shit. So that was really funny. So I enjoyed watching the draw process and enjoyed being a part of it and doing the coverage of it. It would have been cool to have done it for all of them, but because of the time constraints, because they're all happening simultaneously, and they do take a while, right? It could take like 20 or so minutes, realistically, to cut into the round. But really interesting as a process. So that's that. And then we'll talk about the coverage in a second, but the results, let's talk about that. That was cool. So England won. That's their 3rd time in a row. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's very, very impressive. They had some new people on the team this year.
Who did really well.
Yeah. I especially want to do a shout out to Richie's Fire Slayer list, which made me fucking howl. Which Sweden also had a Fire Slayer list. Piloted by
Johan.
By Johan. I got to say that I don't know if I've expressed this yet. I've told you all that the Grimwrath Berserk, the Hearthbard Berserker block is nails as shit, and I'm just going to say it one more time. Don't charge that fucking block. Yeah. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this, but I'll say it one more time. Do not charge that block.
Johan's face was like, you can have a turn 1 charge here. It's like, yeah, you can.
What I really enjoy about those Fire Slayers players is they were like, yeah, none of my buff's up yet, so maybe you could charge me this turn. And then every fucking person would charge him. And they'd be like, I don't know why, when you see just 30 guys with all the heroes around them and then 2 little 10-man screens, you go, Yeah, I charge those
I could
30.
have them.
That'll be fucking fine.
As I said to Nathan today, and to the people who played against Gloomspites, it's basically like charging 20 fungoid cave shamans, but they have armor on.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's mental.
Yeah.
It's mental. So to give you some quick stats on their survivability, they can have a 3-up save reroll in ones, yeah, immune to battle shock, with a 4-up ignore damage save, and there's 60 wounds in the block. Yeah, and I walked past the captain Tom of Team Wales, and he had unordered Draconis list, and he was facing off against
Ewan Börjesson.
Ewan what?
Börjesson.
Yeah, he was facing off against Ewan, and Ewan was just sat down, and Tom was like, looked at me and went, I reckon I got a first turn charge on. This is why Donal was in the crowd, and I just was like, don't say anything, and then and then I looked at the Swedish guy, and he was like, charge me to get. And Mark is in the chat, and then I said in the chat, says I told him not to charge it. It was my favourite thing of the weekend, all weekend, apart from in the final where both Fire Slayers lists went against each other. And then because, obviously, the joke I made all the time is they all look the fucking same, all the Fire Slayers. So just having 60 of them in the middle beating the fuck out of each other, I went over, I was like, oh, this looks shit.
It was relocation orb as well.
Yeah, a relocation orb, so they're all fighting in the middle, and everyone's like, where's the orbs? Like, no one cares.
We're never gonna get it anyway.
It's just the dice decides who wins this game.
So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was quite a funny list, doing it around. So the lists are up. So yeah, Team England won, and they had a really cool competition. They had a couple of unique army choices. Not unique, they had at least one unique army choice in there, which was Bone Splitters, and they're one of the only two teams that took the Fire Slayers. So apart from that, they had a Flesh Eater Course list, they had a Doors of Cain list, they had a Skaven list, they had
a Caradon list.
A Caradon list.
Yeah.
So they had a load of interesting lists. But they had a couple of unique ones, and maybe that was the swing. The Bone Splitters list being a bit of an interesting bully list. Caradon's repleted on a different team. Second place was Northern Ireland, smashing it, nearly could have won. Yeah, fucking great group of guys. Third place was Swedland. You happy with that?
Super happy.
Yeah.
Super proud of the guys. Because as I said before, like it's a rough field.
It's a very rough field.
Yeah, and it was close as well, really close. It was
Really
a nail biter.
close.
So it's good.
Yeah, really close. Big shout out to OJ from Wales, letting a take back happen on one of the tables, which he felt a little bit disheartened by. He was like, wanted to be a nice guy, and then he was like, I'm worried it might have affected our standings because Wales were in for a shout, right?
But there's a lot of takebacks going on.
That's what I mean. The atmosphere was pretty relaxed-ish, right?
Yeah.
As far as it needed to be. Yeah, it was awesome overall, I thought. And then so amazingly, Wales came fourth.
Yeah.
Now in the final round, we covered Republic of Ireland, South Ireland versus Scotland. Republic of Ireland have come last every year for the past 2 years, and then they're in this hot situation where they potentially, as long as they beat Scotland, they're not going to be. So that game was tense and tight. The Republic of Ireland already had all their tops off and they were ready to go. What did you guys see any of that, or?
I tried to look away.
Well, it was really exciting because they ended up not coming last. Donal had bought a potato peeler as the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Which he was really upset about. Sorry, Donaldinho, the Free State. Yeah, so the Free State of the Republic of Ireland. I don't really know. I know that there's a battle for the 5 counties. I'm not sure. There's some sort of... I got really involved in it. They were all talking at me during their matchup between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, but still, I've watched it back. No clue what they were saying. Anyway, but they ended up smashing it and not coming last and coming 5th. Yeah, so Scotland now got the wooden spoon, they got the potato peeler, which is a little bit disheartening for them because they worked their balls off. Oh, Owen Abram, thank you for subscribing on Patreon. That's very lovely.
I thought
Owen!
On the paper, I thought Scotland, and they did do very good as well, like at the start, but I thought it was probably going to be them coming first or second.
Scotland.
Yeah.
No, they seem super prepped, right? Like, I really want to get up there and play some Warhammer against these guys. Like,
super nice guys.
Super nice guys.
All of them, the guys were fucking nice guys.
Who?
All of them.
Yeah, every team.
Every team.
Every team.
Yeah.
Like they did the work. Like, yeah, it was a fucking wicked atmosphere. Got to say a big shout out to a Bugtastic guy's just joined the chat. He says, "Hey chat, hey Rob, John, and Nathan and Jet. Only got a minute from the show. Anyway, says great job this weekend. Love watching event coverage. It's our pleasure. It's what we want to do." Nathan Watson says we are getting fancy plinth for the potato peeler, and we're going to display it proudly in the Common Ground Games in Stirling with a spotlight on it rotating round.
Yeah, they should. But that's great.
That's really good. I want to say a big shout out to Little Chris. So Chris Senior and Chris Junior were both at the event, so if you don't know, you might not know who they are, but there's some Irish fellas. Little Chris was actually playing in Team Wales. This is actually his second international event. Little Chris is 15. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Little Chris kicked the fuck out of some people over the weekend. Yeah. He just walked around like, "I'm gonna fucking murder you." Yeah, and good job by Little Chris, I gotta say. And it's really cool watching the next generation.
He murdered
play.
the Swedish legend.
Huh?
He was the only one to slay the Swedish legend Adam.
He was the only one to take out the Swedish legend of Adam.
Yeah.
With his flesh eater courts.
Yep.
And I think it's really cool that someone so young is representing a country, not his, but a country.
A country.
A country. Was he in Team Northern Ireland, Little Chris? Was he
Yeah,
not? He was in Team Northern Ireland. I'm so sorry.
His dad was in Wales.
His dad was in Wales. Yeah. And he was doing. Oh, he's in the chat right now, Chris Junior. There he is. If you guys could put some emotes or just send some love to Little Chris Junior, because I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, especially he played at the Warlords event held over in Northern Ireland by Big Paul Bastion, and like he had a really tense match once with one of the other players, Kane, great guy, and they then both team captains intentionally drew them against each other during the matchup process. They played their game, they had a fair time, they had a good fight, and it was all water under the bridge. And I got to say a massive shout out to both the team captains for like forging that again. They're just like, we're not going to let that fucking stay. We're going to fucking fix this and sort it all out. And I think that's wicked. So it's just like, it's really nice anyway. And it's cool seeing someone so young just do so well.
Yeah.
I thought. Anyway, so all the people in the chat putting emojis in, which is lovely. Yeah. His dad can't qualify for Northern Ireland because he's not as good as Little Chris. Because Big Chris played in Wales. Played for the Welsh team. The Welsh team had a bit of a tough run as well, I thought. I thought they had a pretty solid team. Apart from that Fire Slayer charge, I never want to talk about that ever again in my life. I've never seen something so outrageous.
Yeah, but a big shout as well to Dave the Chin and
Dave the Chin.
Yeah, one of the Scottish lads who played for Wales, like every other game, I think.
Yeah, so one of the Welsh team unfortunately didn't make it, so the coaches took turns like getting involved, and the Scottish coach actually took Russ Field's very first tournament loss off him in the first round. I'm pretty certain, which then that caused a bit of a like a knock-on effect, I think, for the weekend. So you know, his first international loss on stage. That was fucking a mess of words, and it was to the spare player. But the Scottish coach was like, "Fucking got him! I got him!
Go Wales!"
There we go. And then Chris Junior said, "You said it, Donald, not me." He's talking about his dad. Awesome. So yes, you can see all the lists on the website. The results are in. Which is really.
And you can also see how a lot of the lists are skewed towards team play. Like One Drop Silvernet is so strong in team play. Ignis Caron, great for busboying. Git's great for busboying, I'd say.
So busboying would be when you intentionally throw them against a hard matchup to lose.
Yeah,
but maybe take some secondaries.
So as an example, I played all the eels in the world, and I played 3 Skaven during the weekend. So it was a rough run, and like.
Well, thankfully, Skaven are fine.
Yeah. And like I can't really explain how fucking broken they are.
Well, we're going to talk about.
Me and Nathan did a game on the car back from Stansted.
Oh yeah, because you had nothing but time.
We had every other go, and just say something that was wrong with the fucking Skaven book.
Oh, and did you make the whole car?
We're not done yet.
So Nathan wants to says Paul the Bazooka Diduka beat Russ the Face Feel. Got him. That's what he says. Got him all day long. So they're happy with that. Source Knight. So Donaldino says he's already a hero. The Source Knight. Oh, okay. Yes, you got thrown under the bus a lot. So there was loads of really interesting.
That was my intention though.
Yeah.
All the time. Okay. Just grab the points.
So I got to say, I would love to do more international event coverage like that, or even just team-based coverage. I got to say, the draw process is really interesting, fun, and I think fun for the viewers as well. Although, if you are one of the viewers, I would really like you to get back to me about what you thought about it. So you can go back and watch the videos. You don't even have to watch the whole thing if you're not too interested. You can just watch the first draw process and just see what your thoughts are. I want to improve that. And obviously, it's the first time it's ever been done. It's quite.
Watch the second draw process.
Yeah, don't do the first one. Yeah, do the second to fifth. Yeah, thank you very much. First one was a clusterfuck, and then just work out if you liked it, if you didn't like it, and what you'd want to see more of. Do you think that's something you'd be interested in the future?
The
John?
draw process is super interesting,
and it's quite exhilarating, quite exciting.
Yeah, and I think there are things you can do as well. Obviously, it needs some sort of technology, but having the list available once the draws are up, so they can see what's exactly going against what.
We already had that, yeah.
Oh fuck! I haven't watched it, have I?
Well, you had them straight on the website, right? So you could go and look at.
Yeah.
They were already uploaded, so we had it sorted. Which is why we made the website for event coverage, so you can always go on there and do a thing, which is fun. And there was some other stuff. Eventually we'll get there really good. I actually don't know what the next event that we're covering is. But that was really interesting. Got to say, massive shout out to Speckles. Speckles' first time doing some tournament coverage, and he did a real good job. I've done it with you two before, and you two are excellent, and I really enjoy it with you. And Speckles did a grand old job, just yammering about some Warhammer, which was fun.
Shut up, Speckles.
Shut up, Speckles. Yeah, we got a new catchphrase if ever Speckles does it again. Shut up, Speckles. But he did a wonderful job. It was a little bit frustrating for me on the Sunday because Speckles snores really bad, so I hadn't slept either Friday or Saturday night. So I feel for you, man. I was a bit tired, but that's.
He's got that sort of face.
He has got a face that snores, right? It was big shout out to Element Games, the venue as well. They were really, really lovely.
Firestorm Games.
Fuck! I did that yesterday.
Hashtag Guildball.
Sleep deprivation that you
suffer. All the sleep deprivation I've got because of. Speckles is snoring. So Firestorm Games, those guys were real nice. They just let us basically take over their little tech area. They weren't stressed at all. They didn't give us any shit. They were just really friendly. They were super helpful. So
super nice guys.
Yeah, if you're in Wales or near Cardiff or anywhere in the south of England, then
they should play.
Why is Wales having problem getting a team with a venue like that? That's just stupid.
Go and play Warhammer there and become a Welsh team.
Yes, become one of the Welsh team.
Cardiff.
Cater says Speckles was great and shit at the same time somehow.
It's great to take
Schrodinger's commentator. Chuckabutty in the chat there just confirming that Speckles does indeed snore, which is really nice of him. Big shout out to John Scribbins as well, doing all the work, making little fancy overlays and doing good work there. And then Donal, our new infield reporter, really fun. I don't want him and Adam to ever be allowed to work together in infield reporting because they'll probably egg each other on to the point where it just becomes a 2.5 hour roast of the crowd.
Which is really what you want.
Which is really what we want from event coverage. So there's the ETC coming up, but I don't when it comes to international team coverage. So if you're interested in supporting your nation, but I don't think they have any coverage planned, as far as I'm aware of it. They did. Oh, I can't wait to do this. Recycle this joke. They did say that they that one of the teams may have dropped out, so they were looking at kind of like a combined United Nations team to go to the ETC, which is quite exciting. But I was like, what are they going to do? Just go over and observe? I'm so glad I saved it to do it one more time.
It's like with the Tutsis, you just watch.
That said, I'm like is this the first year that they've accepted Age of Sigmar? Whereas you've had Blood Ties.
I think they wanted it last year, but there was no interest from the countries sending teams, or it was like it was in the waters, but nothing did like get confirmed. But this year, obviously, Tom Halsley is pushing it really good.
Yeah. Obviously England already did well at the Six Nations. They'll be looking to do well there. But I think
Sweden's gonna fuck him up.
Sweden is going to potentially fuck them up. I think it's a bit sad that there's not going to be any coverage. This isn't me pushing to do coverage in any way, shape, or form. It's just like
I can push. Come on, to see. Have him come. Do coverage. I'll push, man. I'll push.
It's hot. I don't know if I want to go.
That's why I'm not going. Also because I'm shit at Warhammer. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was warm. I'd say they tried for AOS last year, but no takers apparently. But Six Nations has been going a while, and it seems like a great event. And if it's going from strength to strength, and what's nice is that kind of like again, excellent work by Team England there, setting themselves up as they are the Dolph Lundgren of the Rocky 3 story.
Dolph Lundgren is a Swede.
Yes, but you've seen Rocky with Dolph Lundgren in, where Dolph Lundgren beats Rocky, and he kills Apollo Creed. Spoilers, and then like Rocky has to train in the snow and like pull a log. That's the story. Have you not watched that one?
You just spoil it now. Like the only Dolph Lundgren I had left to watch.
Ivan Drago. But so effectively what he does there is
you.
like, so what you want is like the Scottish are up there in the north now, they're like playing Warhammer in the snow, like just training, getting serious. The Irish playing it both in pubs and wherever else they live. The Welsh...
We're just playing in the fjords, aren't we?
You're playing on the fjords, absolutely, with your...
big horny hats.
Where do the Swedish train? Like, where is your training ground?
In the north. No, I mean, train in the woods, got screaming in the woods, shout our opponents' names.
Scotty Jock says Six Nations is an amazing event. It's the centre of our calendar, talking about Scotland. Warp Tunneler in the chat. Big love. Could you put big love in the chat to Warp Tunneler, who was the guy? So that's Andy doing all of the data collection. Anyway, really interesting when we get into so when we get to the stage where you represent your country, that's a sport, right?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
I think so. I guess it is.
It is.
Like
they were like they had fucking sports tops on. England had sports tops on.
Yeah, probably.
They all had sports. You all had sports tops on.
Well, ours were very pretty. I'm not gonna lie. With mooses on them. We're cross-eyed. Well, it looks more like a camp T-shirt more than a sports thing. But so I captained the first year, and I just mainly wanted to make it happen, right? So I was like, okay, I need 8 guys to come and play Warhammer, which I got. And then for the second year, we basically half of the team stayed on, half of the team jumped off. We got some new bloods in. So we'll see how we'll do for this year. We want new blood in the scene, right? So I will see how we'll do.
Yeah, so you want new... and that's cool.
So how we did it this year was like we decide one captain, and then the captain gets to do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and everybody just agrees.
Okay, that's a good system.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a good system. We talked about also the not the controversy, but the things surrounding selection for the ETC team for England as well. But like, I do like the idea of there being countries like represented and playing.
Yeah.
I think the process of how you get to that team, and also if you're going to get good teams. And I mean this, no disrespect to any of the teams that were there. You probably should have a process for like those teams playing in a team environment leading to that, as opposed to just appearing so. It's cool to pick individual players, but one of the individual players on the Saturday night had to be escorted home to make sure he didn't go dancing. Like sometimes you just got some you got some star strikers who need to be controlled, right? And you learn those life lessons as
That's
you go
why
through.
you know when they were serious.
What?
When they had them walk home.
Escort.
No more, Darren.
No more drinking for you.
But we're having our first team tournament in Sweden.
Yeah.
4-man teams. It's gonna be great. Gonna be great. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be really good. All right, so yeah, there was loads of new blood there. Everyone was playing. It seemed like a good event. I think we've laboured the point long enough. Didn't seem like a good event. It was a great event, and I was there. It was really cool. I'm looking forward to, and I'm hoping the team captains, because they're a council, right? I hope they want us to go back and do some work next year, because I'd love to, and work out how to do it better. And I'd like to do some team tournaments before then, so I can improve the process of how we get to doing things like that.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
I believe the bids for where it will be hosted will be done in 4 weeks. Then it will be a vote. It's really cool because it's like the super official thing. Like it's where like how we do stuff in the Six Nations and which countries can arrange it and yada yada. It's like official, Six Nations official. It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You like it, and it's also done by like.
It's way too. It's like way too grown up for me.
It's a little bit too serious. But that's what I felt when I was doing the coverage, right? I was like, okay, this is. I mean, if you wanted to take it seriously, like you would take something else. Like these are the nations, and they want their pride on the line, right? Like it's a thing. But at the same time, then, like the Republic of Ireland just took all their tops off, and I was like, well, let's go with this. Like this is, and that's kind of the thing about Warhammer, right? Like, and I was saying this to a couple of the guys over the weekend. We're adrenaline junkies. We're like absolute dice monkeys. Like we're there, just like when you're there and you roll your big 6, you're like, fuck you. You did. You scuttle tied Nikelian King, right?
Yeah. So the Scuttle Tide on Volturnus versus David Shin, turn 1. He missed his ward save against spells. 6 mortal wounds. 6!
6!
Ah!
So the the thing about that is, it's thrilling, right? And it's not like, is it like golf? I suppose those other guys get just as excited. But like the victory laps from footballers when they kick a fucking ball. Jesus, rolling that 6 is way more difficult to do. Yeah. Just saying.
It is way more difficult.
Way more difficult. That's why
Byron did it twice.
Exactly right.
With the same special dice.
Yeah. Oh wow. Napey says, any plan for gathering covering the upcoming Danish of Sigmar tournament SlagCon? Napey, if you send us a message, I'm sure we can try and sort something. I've never been to Daneland. Is that near Switzerland?
It's a shit country south of Sweden.
I'm sure it's lovely.
The guys are lovely.
Oh, right, good, yeah. Speckles, it's Northern Ireland next year. I've already been told I can fly back and forth, so I don't have to sleep in the same country as them. So I'm good, because then I might get some sleep, you snorer.
Shut up, Speckles.
Donald Dean says he's going to write a charter before he sets down as the president of the Six Nations. There you go.
It's going to be probably more corrupt than FIFA.
Way more corrupt.
So 200 people died from hosting the event hall for Six Nations this year.
Dave Robinson says rolling multiple 6s to the Torah guys doesn't get the same shouting. It doesn't. Right, so that's it. That's the Six Nations chat. I think that's everything. You can see the list online. I might do some more interviews as the week goes through, but because we're so close to the new General's Handbook, having a conversation about the lists or looking at the minutiae is probably going to be like a mistake, because not only have we got probably 6 new scenarios, we might have 18 or 12, or Games Workshop might just give us 3.5. We don't know at this stage. They're insane. So it could be anything. We obviously have got to wait for that. So we're not going to do what we did last year, because last year was at the very start of Age of Sigmar 2, where it kind of like broke the mold, and Donal in the chat himself had to create his own FAQ. In fact, Donal and Darren in the chat were responsible for 2 very huge FAQs, as were most of the attendees last year at Six Nations. Yeah. So this year, it's nice that they closed off the broken year of whatever the fuck they made to the start, right? So that's really fun. It was a nice little roundup. So thank you for listening to that. So I've got like a bit of an editorial piece I want to talk to you guys about now, because I don't know how to talk about this subject, so I'm just going to have a conversation with you, and then we'll close the show off. Cool. Is that okay? Yeah. Elmbird says, question, were any of the lists that seemed unconventional to you because they were from different countries meta? Nope, they were so similar. In fact, not true. Sweden's Skarbrand was cool. That was fun.
He was fucking taking names.
Sweden's Skarbrand was really interesting. I don't rate Skarbrand, he's too slow.
I think people both underestimated Mikael and underestimated Skarbrand, because he took some names with that big boy, including the Iron Golem himself, Tony Moore.
Yes. Yeah. Did you have to play that? You have to play the Iron Golem himself?
Yeah, Mikael, captain versus captain.
Skarbrand.
I mean, a real captain, don't send any other player against another captain. They take,
lead from the front.
They take them on lead from the front, and he did. They did.
Yeah, Scarbrand is an absolute baller. 5 out of 5 for Scarbrand.
And
That was
like,
interesting.
in a team tournament where you can like put away the shooting and you have to deal with Scarbrand's 6-inch piling and it's 52 billion damage. He's a great shout.
He is a great shout, yeah.
And obviously, if you have the driver license for the Cord, I mean,
Yeah, if you know how to use him.
yeah,
I wouldn't have put him on the table, but like I want to go back and look at that. So that was something that was that I thought was at least quite interesting. There was different. There was a really cool Northern Ireland versus England mirror match for Eels, which I thought was really cool for Idnet Deepkin. That was a really cool match, and they were fairly different to a degree. So it was nice, like looking at that composition. And I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I thought it was quite cool. And actually Little Chris Jr. was the only shootcast list. No, there was the shootcast list with the ballisters. There was the shootcast list with the
long strikes.
With the long strikes, which is pretty much like one or the other, right, in some cases. Yeah. Trying to write a competitive Stormcast list was a nightmare, says Little Chris. And this is the first time he attacked versus 9 Eels. He rolled a double 6 for 32 mortal wounds. Talking about Scarbrand.
Yeah.
So a conversation that I had on Saturday, as we were talking about event coverage and Age Sigmar as it is and everything else as it goes along. Because obviously Wargamers get them together, you talk about 1,000 things. One of the things we were talking about was the Skaven Vortex, right? And just how stupid it is. And then we got onto, like, obviously Flesh Eater Corpse piling and attacking twice, which I think is stupid. Whether or not you can manage it and play against it, I don't care. It's stupid, right? And anyone who disagrees with me, you're just flat wrong. Like, I don't get it's fact based on stats and fucking experience of pretty much everyone at the event in games for the past 2 months.
Everybody had that list as well.
Exactly, everyone had that list, right? And everyone had the Vortex in every single list. My point is the point that got raised to me, which I didn't have an answer for, which is why I'm now asking you in the chat because I'm a little bit like sad, was how can it be allowed to happen? Now that's not a criticism of anyone other than the company. And the accusation is, how can I have faith in the game in any way, shape or form, especially with new General's Handbook coming up and a bunch of other stuff. I really want to play this game. I want to play it for fun with my friends and I want to play it on a competitive level. Yeah, and I want things that are an issue to be fixed very quickly. But more importantly, the most obvious fucking mistakes ever, which should never have even gone to print, I want to happen before they go to print because they're stupid. Like, I don't mind something being like, oh, it's a little bit strong or that's a bit too much. But the Vortex is fucking stupid.
The whole book is fucking stupid.
The whole book is fucking stupid, but the Vortex is moronic, right?
It's just a star on top of the Christmas tree.
and my thing about it is I had that conversation. It was like, how can you? The question I asked was how can you have any faith in the game or its validity really as a game when that's allowed to happen not once but consistently going through the game. And I didn't really have an answer because I really want to play Age of Sigmar. I want to do the coverage on it. I've like my livelihood to a degree is now based on it, doing the coverage, like, and also doing like what we do here. So like I don't like it would be very easy for me to walk away from that and be like, oh, let's not talk about it. Everything's kind of okay. That's not what we do on this show. Our show's about the truth.
This show is about highlighting the stuff.
It's about highlight. It's about having those tough conversations. So my question is, can you make me feel better? Like, that's what I want, and not that it's going to get changed because it's been like I don't care if it gets changed in like the General's Handbook or points go up or points go down. The issue is that it ever happened at all. And watching it this weekend, watching like it just be there and people being like, Vortex, you're like, no, fucking no, it's not okay. Like flat out, I'd ban the Vortex. Like right now, if I was a TO, I'd ban it from every event. And I've never said that before about anything in the game. I'd just be like, don't let that happen. Fuck it off.
Historically, in Warhammer,
yeah,
there's always been some sort of restriction format or some sort of comp. Always. We've never had it in Age of Sigmar ever.
And because I don't agree with it. And Nathan, I don't think you agree with it either, right? Or do you?
I'm not that bothered.
I mean, there's always been stupid shit in various forms. Now we have the Vortex. At one point, we have the Clown Car. There's always going to be something that is little bit like off. I think we need to accept that. But also, Games Workshop are becoming a lot better with fixing stuff. I mean, it's obviously a shame that it happens, right? But
it's not a shame. No. That's really letting the water just pass
over
the bridge.
Fair. It's fucking
right?
catastrophic.
It is.
Yeah.
Like it's poor. It's poor. And what you're asking me to do is every battle. Like I want to get hyped for a battle tome, right? I want to see a battle tome, and I want to be like, fuck yeah, this is exciting. And then I don't want someone to say it's bent as fuck. or it's really under par and rubbish. Like, just find a fucking middle ground. And when someone says it's too complicated, they posted profits like £250 million last year. Hire some clever fucking people. Everyone who likes it's a nerd. You'll hire loads of fucking clever people to do shit that you've never even thought of.
Or just
Use the money you're making to make a better game and not fuck up. Like, and it really upset me on Saturday night, actually, because I was like, it's a fair point. So if you listen to Sunday morning, I'm really going on the Vortex like every fucking round.
Yeah.
And if you do know someone who has a walk around the Vortex, smash it with a hammer.
This is a plea to Games Workshop. When everybody say there is something wrong with it, and they can point it out very specifically, please do not wait 6 months. Pull the fucking handbrake and do a hot fix.
Yeah, do it 2 weeks
You have the fucking tools. And how it was fixed, how it was missed in the FAQ, that's beyond me. That's beyond me. Because you had competent players playing Skaven when they were out, competent players doing really good with Skaven, who know why they are good. They should have reported it as well. They should not just ride the Skaven train. They should report it when it's fucking wrong.
Yeah. Haywo's, the argument that it's too complicated as well. You look at Magic the Gathering's 20,000 cards. It's not too complicated. They're just lazy. And they let poor shit come out. And I'm just going to hold them to task now because no one else is probably going to do it. Like, and the question got raised, and I was like, I don't care. Like, and some people can be like, "Oh, you're being negative," and I'm like, I'm not being negative. I furiously want to be really joyous about the game. I think the weekend was amazing.
Yeah.
I think the games that had were amazing. I think everyone who was playing was amazing. That's been my experience of Bobo, Six Nations. Like everything I do, I've just had a great time, and I want that to continue. And I don't want people to walk away from the game. I want the game to grow, and the game needs to grow, and the game makers need to take responsibility for that. Like, you need to hold them to task.
And I think we as a community as well, I think, just raise your voice when something is really off. Because they obviously listen.
Yeah.
And that includes everybody. Everybody. Like, when something's fucking wrong that you don't want in the tournament, just shout.
Yeah.
Bring your signs. Like.
Positive Victim says, because you played Skaven, right? You played Darren.
Yeah, I played 3.
And he says, our game was good, John. Thanks for letting me enjoy the bullshit. Yeah, but you enjoy playing Darren.
Yeah, lovely guy.
But the army's dumb.
The army's dumb. Yeah.
The army's dumb.
It's not dumb. It's letting go really easy. So it's just out of this world dumb.
It's out of this world dumb.
It's and when it really shows. It really shows when it's played by a really competent player like Darren. Who uses all their tricks, like use all their tools that they have available to them. It's just so fucking stupid.
Yeah, like fucking big love to Colin Cochrane, like smiling his way through that interview and laughing as he's had 13 Slanesh units activate before he's even had a go.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe, like, and this is not me second guessing. Maybe there could have been something he did in deployment. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Like, and he got really lucky and got loads of charges off. But should that even be competently possible to happen? Like, you know, you're like, what did you say the other day? You're like, if all the stars align, I might be able to do loads of mortal wounds with my gits. You're like, okay, you're like, well, fucking calm down, son.
Yeah.
Like,
the stars did not align for my gits this weekend. But the thing is, though, since I jumped against the Skaven quite a lot, the last game, unfortunately, I didn't have because you had 10 seconds. You have a paper and some secondaries, right? And at the end of round 5, I kind of had just the hard ones left. It was pretty much impossible for me to do.
With your gits army?
Yeah. But I fucking loved taking points from Skaven. Just stealing the points with objectives and shit and watching them not fully score. That was a win to me. Like,
yeah, like it's
that was my victory.
Exactly, it's a fun element, right? Like if you beat Skaven, beat Flesh Eater Courts, beat Daughters, you're like, fuck, especially if you're not using those other armies, you're like, I'm fucking rocking now. This is good.
Yeah. But for my list to beat that.
But I don't mean like in its fixing. I mean before it goes to print.
I'm gonna say it like this. Yeah, the book needs rewriting. There's so much thing wrong with that book that it's beyond points.
You think so?
Yeah. Wording on the Screaming Bells is fucked up. Why could you stack the casting from Screaming Bells? Why should the army be +4 to cast? Why is the army immune to battle shock within the Screaming Bell? The Screaming Bell is 200 points. You take 3. You can even push in 4 if you want to, but you only need 3.
Or you can just use a character to spend 1 CP.
Why is there Why is there an option for the Vortex to do 6 mortal wounds? Why is the range of the Vortex 26 and then you can add another 7? Why is that even fucking in there? The person who wrote the rules for that, sorry, dude, or
should be fired.
You're shit at writing rules. You're really
Well, you're
bad.
definitely shit.
Yeah.
The playtester is shit. The playtesting group is shit
You
for
don't
letting
know.
that go
You
through.
don't know,
The
'cause
person responsible for talking to those guys. No, if the playtesters fed the information back.
We don't know.
I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll say every person responsible in letting it happen is responsible. Same with Flesh Eater Court's book. Like, and if you're involved in the process, I honestly don't care if I'm upsetting you. Do better. And if you don't do better, I'm just going to hold you to count now on the show because it needs to happen. Because, right, ultimately, it just upsets people. It makes people leave the game. Had a great weekend. Met great guys. Everyone just wants to fucking roll dice and have a laugh. Yeah. If it's stupid, don't let it be stupid. Spend the money that you're making from us on making a better game. It's not that hard. Just do better. And who doesn't want that to do better, right? Like, you know, like, I know I want to improve what I do on the show and the show itself. Like, I've made that very, like, and that's
as you said, they make loads of money.
They make loads of money.
Hire the playtesters, make them work for you, make them take that time actually and like work for you properly, and just, I mean, and listen to their opinions. If they say something's fucked up, and playtesters, you probably do this already, but say that it is fucked up. Nobody will thank you. Nobody will thank you if it gets.
It's not coming through the brand.
Yeah, you are a playtester for a reason.
If you normally disagree with me, like when I say something like this, right? You do, and I don't mind. Like, it's nice hearing the other side of a opinion. I just want the game to be like it. I think the game's not in a bad place.
Yeah.
That's not my point. I just think that there should be some systematic look at how they produce stuff. And I agree with John that they fix things. I just think that, like, when it even comes out, you're like, why? Why do I have to react to this? It makes coverage more boring, right? Like, when I'm reading the list, I'm like, people in the chat were like, oh, the different meta's different. I'm like, no, it's got the Warp Lightning fucking Vortex in. It's dumb as fuck. It's got 40 clan rats. It's got 20 clan rats. Yeah, no, it's the Gristle Gore. Like, the thing from this weekend was, oh, actually, it's got corpse cart in. It's kind of interesting for +1 to cast. Meaning that, like, now I know that Flesh Eater Courts really rely on that reliability for the casting. It's a big deal to them, right? Yeah. Enough to put 80 points of it.
3 of them had that in their lists.
Yeah, like, it's in some lists. So actually, that's kind of interesting. But overall, anything else being taken? No. Like, is it varied? No. Like, it's just not interesting. And when it's not interesting, it becomes something that people will walk away from. And I don't want gamers to walk away. I want them to stay and enjoy themselves. That's what I want. Yeah. Like, and I want the events to be fun, and I want people to enjoy themselves. That's my thoughts, anyway. But if you disagree, I'd like to hear it.
No, I think the Skaven book is a bit fucked up. I mean, I think
A bit fucked up.
Well, okay, it's really fucked up. I mean, so I enjoy a challenge of playing against tough armies as much as anybody, and people do that. But I think the Skaven book is just a couple of bridges too far. I think the Flesh Eater Court one has got some weaknesses, but the problem is that not every army can take advantage of those
weaknesses.
So it's just, you would like it so that every army's got at least a fighting chance. But some you don't think there's.
Yeah.
Basically you have to hope that your opponent made some massive error if you got a chance.
Because you have like reactions from the community. Oh, this is really good. This is actually really good, and that's a healthy good. But when everybody says this is fucked up, there should be a big fucking hamburger.
And this weekend you saw Skaven lose, you saw Flesh Eater Courts lose, you saw Daughters of Cain lose, you saw Sinesh lose, right? You saw that, right? But they were all counter picks, playing on scenarios, and they were close or not close, depending on the situation, right? But there wasn't much variance. And when you went to temples, for instance, they were all the same apart from one. Like when you went to which like delusion you had, it was all the same, right? When you talked about which barrack they were from, they were the same. Like, the shooting Stormcast was they were all from the same storm host. Like, but my point is I actually think realistically the different army builds, like the rock paper scissors mechanic of it, are quite interesting. It was really interesting watching the draw process. It's really interesting being like, actually, Sylvaneth have gone down 1 drop, but they're against KO. But some of their shooting can fly. Good point you made on the show, thank you. Like, I was like, actually, that's cool. Little Chris just taking off Flesh Eater Courts all day long with his Stormcast, badass. That's really cool. So there is a nice rock paper scissors element to it, but some of the stuff is just so stupid. Why even let it go to print? Because I don't think the competitive gamers give a fuck. The competitive gamers don't care. They're like, cool, I'll take that. And the other competitive gamers like, that's fine.
That's right.
I'm enjoying
I don't think
myself.
so.
But you're talking about the other 90% of the field. The competitive gamers help bring that information out. And then the 90% of the field go, oh, I've just got this warp lightning vortex thing here. This is pretty fun. You're fucked. And some dickhead in the world, like somewhere in the world, doesn't know why he's getting bummed by his mate all day long. He's just there. I like green skins. They're fun. Anyway, that's my thought. And when I got told it, I was like, I don't have an argument for that.
Every player,
I didn't have an argument.
every Skaven player that I played said that two things. I'm sorry, and this army is fucking stupid and shouldn't be a part of this game.
Should have. Anyway, let's end on some fun. Yeah, unless you guys have got another thought on it.
No, let's have fun.
This weekend in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, in Narnia.
This weekend, what happened?
So they had the Brishammer 3 or 2 or something. Let's have a look. See. It was some Brishammer. One of the Brishammer tournaments, but was great because Distraction was cleaning house. Gloomspike gets coming first, which is quite cool. It's good for them. Yeah.
Good.
Under the helm of Dave Kerr, who's the Australian master, so he's got to be a fairly decent player. But then second was Greenskins. Have they got a stat up until now on your little
I'm not
table
sure.
of thingies?
I'd have to check.
Have they got an army?
I'd have to check. But if Gloomspike coming first is cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really fun. But second place, Greenskins.
Greenskins.
Now, but so did they go for like a
To
horde
make you
style?
question everything.
Yeah, so did they go for like a horde style? I imagine they wouldn't it would be hard to use a greenskin army. Well, you wouldn't use something poor like a rogue idol or something.
But what was the format? Well, like how can it shouldn't be possible?
Yeah. So what was in the list?
There were a couple of orc chariots, obviously. You're going to have those. Some orc boar boys.
Continue, please.
Auric boar boys. Greenskin auric boar boys. Some dudes on foot. A couple of war bosses. Yeah, and 2 rogue idols or effigies of Gork or Mork.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty cool. One was painted the rising sun, the Japanese rising sun colours. So red fanning out, and then the other one was a Scottish Saltaire, so it was cool.
2 rogue idols came second, but it was a unique. So Daniel was going to
came third.
And what?
Corn came third.
Corn came third. So there's a unique composition to this at the weekend. Do you guys want to tell me what it was? There was some. You'll be hearing more of this later on Dan's show, but it was quite fun and cool. And also big shout out Dino.
Yeah,
And who came first?
So Dave Kerr.
Dave Kerr. Fucking what a babe. Let's. What was the interesting composition about the weekend?
Sorry, the composition.
Yeah, for the comp, like there was.
Oh yeah. So their comp, they obviously used the Australian sportsmanship thing applies to your overall standing.
Oh, it all makes sense now.
So that just means people aren't going to bring armies like Skaven and Daughters of Cain and Flesh Eater Courts because it's going to hurt your sportsmanship, isn't it?
So they literally self-comped.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
If you bring that, then you know that you probably
Everyone's going to think
you're probably a dick.
I don't think they should. I don't think any. That's my issue, right? Like, no one should feel bad for taking their army. No, I'm super into the Skaven narrative, right? I'm like, it's fucking cool, man. I love their techno bit. No one should be criticised for doing it. Like, in the same way, like Dino's a legend, right? But taking 2 rogue idols shouldn't be something where we all fucking clap our hands at, but we have to because it's fucking silly, and he smashed face with it, which is great. Yeah, so I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's great. I want to go play Warhammer there.
Yeah.
That sounds fun and stupid.
I'll play you as a rogue idol, then you'll change your little tune.
You got to change any tune to me, Sonny. Yeah, I'll fight you all day. So, mate, thanks for subscribing 10 months in a row.
Where the sun don't shine.
Evangelist says you should feel bad for taking Chaos Dwarves. I don't feel bad at all, and I don't think anyone should ever. Feel bad for taking their army. Don't listen to this and think I can't take my Skaven or Flesh Eater Courts to tournaments. You do that, you enjoy yourselves.
If you ever go to a tournament with an army and you say sorry.
Yeah, never say sorry
for bringing that army.
No.
You're not sorry, because then you shouldn't bring that army. Just take it, own it.
Own it.
Fucking win with it.
Absolutely smash face with it.
Yeah.
All day long. Celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if there's something that good that comes out of it, it's the stats that Games Workshop obviously look at. So we can fuck them up together.
No, all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, take what you like. That's why I take my Chaos Dwarves and don't listen to YouTube dicks any day.
Take what nobody likes.
Positive Victor says, you said that to me several times, John. Yeah, I'll listen. There you go. Never apologise. Just be like, fuck you.
No.
I bought these guys.
Especially not in a team tournament.
Plus,
Then you should take the fucking
Plus,
hate.
Chucklebutty and Donal will give you the 2.5 hour roast on the War Gamer coverage for everyone. So don't have to apologise to your opponent.
You just have to be afraid.
We're always afraid. Anyway, we are tired from the weekend. It's been long. Nathan, you haven't slept because you've driven to Heathrow and back twice today to pick up Jonathan.
Classic John and Nathan mess around.
Classic John and Nathan
Drive
mess
to
around.
Stansted to buy some diesel.
Yeah, I want to thank you, all of you, for tuning in. Make sure that you give big love to any of the players that represent your country, even the other countries. Those guys were all wicked to a man. They had a great time and they were wicked people. The coaches were cool, and the event organisers were amazing. Thank you, and everyone who helped. John, Speckles, Donal, and Andy specifically. Thank you very much for your help. You guys were wicked. Thank you to you two for being on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone watching. Thank you to everyone on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you for subscribing. We've got some new patrons today.
Sweet.
We've got some new fancy cameras coming. We'll put up our live schedule coming soon. And that's all I've got to say. You got any final thoughts? A bit like Jerry Springer?
Big thank you to everybody this weekend. All my opponents, all the teams, especially my own team. Fucking bra jobbat killar. Jag har även ollat och Robs gras, så det är fullt med min penis. Så att, ni vet. Han vet inte det, men ja.
Yeah. Nathan?
Fuck you.
Anyway, you guys are brilliant. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening. There'll be a stat show next. Just come and hang out with us. You guys are wicked. Don't stop playing Warhammer. It's wicked. And we'll see you soon. Bye.